Hello everybody, my name's Sarah and I work at Karen Delahunty Sewing and Knitting Centre. Today I'm taking over Crafty Friday. Laura normally does it, but we're going to have a little bit of a swap around. I'm going to talk to you about the new Katia Velour prints that they've just brought out, and I'm also going to be showing you a mini tutorial. One ball of Katia Velour can actually make one of these really nice snoods, and they're ideal for Christmas presents. Loads of people love to make them, and it's nice and fluffy yarn as well. So Katia, they are a Spanish company. They make some really nice yarns. The colourways are fantastic. However, this one that they've just brought out, the Velour, it's basically a one ball makes one snood, and it's made of 20% polyester and 80% polyamide, and basically it has a really nice soft feel to it, and I don't know if you can see on the camera there, but it's got this like fluffy look, and it's so simple and easy to do. It's great for a beginner. You're not doing anything too difficult, and it's ideal for, I gave mine last year away as Christmas presents and birthday presents, and everybody loved them. However, this year they've brought them out in the prints, and I'm actually going to show you now what you'll need to make this snood and how you go about doing it. So to make the snood, you will need 6.5mm needles. That's in UK, by the way. So you need a pair of those, and 30 centimetres is fine. You could probably go shorter at a 25 centimetre. I don't think you need any longer. And a ball of your choice. I'm going to use the blue because it's nice and bright. Hopefully you'll be able to see it. So one ball of this. Okay, so I've got my 6.5mm needles here, and to start the snood, for anybody who already knows how to knit, you need to cast on 41 stitches onto your needle. You can go ahead and do that now if you like. I'm just quickly going to show you, for anybody who is an absolute beginner or just needs a re-jog, or whatever you want to call it, I will quickly show you how I cast on. By all means, this is not the right way, it's just the way I do it. If you find it better doing it a different way, then feel free to do that. So for me, what I do is I place the yarn on these two fingers here, so just in the middle, put my thumb on these two end fingers, and then these two, I wrap it round. Then again, holding this fairly tightly, not too tight, a little bit of weight on it, and then gently pull this one over the top, and then this one over again, and very gently just pull that into a small knot or loop, whatever you want to call it. This is classed as your first stitch, so when you count in 41, remember to count that. Hope this is all right. So some people cast on with what they call the thumb method. I don't. I actually use a needle to help me. So how I cast on is put the needle through the yarn, and it's sliding through like that. Don't know if Laura can see it on the camera. Yeah, look at that. And my yarn that's here, I wrap round the back and in between those two needles, down, and then very gently come through. You should have a loop, and place that on your needle. That's your second stitch there. I'm just going to do that again so you get another idea. Remember, you need to do this 41 times, so you've got 41 stitches. So needle, pushing it through this yarn here, it's going through into the back. The yarn is then coming through the middle, sort of wraps around this needle, going down, pulling through my loop, and back onto the needle. I'll do this a couple more times so that you can see it on the video and you're able to pause and stop, see what I'm doing. So needle, going in the back, the yarn that's here, wrapping it round, pulling it down and placing it back on the needle. Piece of advice for maybe real absolute beginners: keep these quite loose. If they're really tight, you might find that it's hard when you actually come to do your knit and purl stitches, but keep them a bit loose so they can move up and down your needle. Not too loose, but just enough so they've got a bit of give. So I've now got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stitches on there. I'm just going to carry on and put on 41 stitches. So if you want to pause now and add your 41 stitches, and then we'll return and come back and we'll do the next bit. Hi everyone again, so I'm back and I've casted on my 41 stitches now. As you can see, the yarn is really fluffy. So yeah, I've cast on my 41 stitches, and the next part is really the easy bit. For any of the knitters out there, the rest of the pattern is just stocking stitch. So you knit a row, you purl a row, and then you carry on like that right into the end. So it's knit a row, purl a row, knit a row, purl a row, and so on until you get to near your end of your ball. Once you're near your end of your ball, what you want to be doing is casting off. And then you've got your piece, and you just sew up your two ends to get your snood like this. So you can download the pattern from Katia for free. We'll put a link in the comments below. So if you need a refresher or you just want it in written format, you can follow it from there. But for anybody who is an absolute beginner and is not sure what I mean by knit and purl and casting off, I'll show you in a second. I'm going to go and do a little sample. I'm not going to knit the whole thing or else this video will be hours long, but what I am going to do is I'm going to do a couple of rows with you to get you going, and I'm also going to quickly show you how to cast off in case you don't know how to. For any of the knitters out there, if you do want to buy a ball of wool from Hunty Sewn Knitting Centre, the velour, whether it be the prints or the plain, it's £8.50 a ball. And you get a free printout once you come into the shop and you purchase the ball, or like I said, you can download it from Katia themselves. So we've got our 41 stitches and we're going to do a knit row. So to do a knit row, needles going in through our first stitch here, through the back, loose yarn. I'm just wrapping around the needle, wrapping around this needle here, pulling down and sliding that stitch off. That's one. Then we're doing the same again. Going to go into the back of this stitch, wrap the yarn round, pull it down gently, and then slide off. You're going to do this for the rest of this row. So I've knitted my first row, and all my stitches that were on this needle over here have now moved onto this needle. So we've done our knit row, and now we're going to do a purl. So we need to be working on, we'll be working on this side. To do our purl, instead of going in this way like you would for your just knit stitch, for your purl you're actually going to come this way forwards. You're going to be working this way with that. And what you're going to do is you're going to get the loose yarn. So you put it in your first stitch, and you're going to wrap it round and then gently pull through. Show you that again. Putting it in your stitch here. Oh, get some more yarn, sorry, just bear with me 1 second. Wrap it around your needle and pull through. And then carry on doing that. I hope you can see on the camera the stitches, what I'm doing. This is a purl row. You're going to purl that all the way to the end. That's our purl row. You're going to just turn your needle back round. And then we're going to do another knit row. So going back to knitting now, where doing your knit stitch, and the needle's going in the back like that. Wrapping round, coming down, pulling that stitch off. So you're doing knit all the way to the end of this row. And once you finish this row of knitting, knit stitch, you'll be back doing purl again. And you carry on like this until you get near the end. So that's another knit row. Just straighten these out a bit. There we are. Turn the needle round. And then we're back on purling again. And you're going to carry on like this. Just get a purl stitch going. You're going to carry on doing a knit row, a purl row, a knit row, a purl row, until you get near the end of your yarn. So we're purling again. So you're going in. Remember, we're going in this way now. Wrapping round, pulling, taking that stitch off. Wrapping round, going through, pulling that stitch off. So I'm going to go and finish this row. I'll probably do a couple more rows, and then I'll come back with a little sample and show you how to cast off for all those that don't know how to cast off. Okay, so I've done a couple more rows just so you can get a gist of it, how it's starting to look when it's just starting to grow. And obviously you just keep on knitting and purling till it's really long. I mean, this is half because we folded it over and sewn it up, but you'll have a really long piece that will look something like this, but really long, obviously. Just for those absolute beginners out there, I'm just going to quickly show you how to cast off. What you need to do is you pop your needle in the back here. Yarn goes round the back needle, and see how it's going down through the centre there. So I'm hooking it round in between the two needles. It's going down and the stitch is coming off. So basically it's like one knit stitch. And what I'm going to do, this is the important bit, put your needle through the back, yarn, wrap it around as if you didn't do another knit stitch. We do another knit stitch. But here comes the important bit. This needle here comes under, hooks under this stitch. It goes, you pull it over the stitch here and slide it off. Now, I think I said at the beginning of the video, I'm not too good at explaining things, so what I'll do is I'll cast off a few more and maybe you'll get the gist. So, you knit one, this goes into here, this pulls over that stitch there at the front. There we have it. And this is casting off. And you do this casting off all the way along the row until you get to the end. This is why I said make sure you've got a bit of yarn left at the end. Don't use up all your yarn or else you won't have enough to cast off and sew up. See, we're getting that really nice neat row now, just like the one we had when we cast it on, really. Just going to finish up this little bit at the end and I'll show you what you do once you've cast it off. So once you've cast it off and you're left with your last stitch on there, what I'm going to do is just hold the piece of yarn just here, so you don't want that, because you don't want it to slip. Slide it off. Now obviously you'll have a long piece that's left. For the purpose of this video I've still got my ball of wool, so I'm going to just cut so I've got a piece. Randomly cut a bit. You won't do that because you'll probably just have that left or whatever. You'll have a small bit left. So still holding it. Just to secure it, I'm going to feed the yarn through this hole and pull it up. Just makes a little knot. Keeps all the stitches secure, really. So that's our cast off. Now, obviously yours is going to be loads longer. This is literally just a sample. So as you can see here, this one's been folded over and sewn already. But to give you an idea, you'll have your loose yarn running along here, and imagine a long piece. And what you want to do is your cast on edge and your cast off edge, right sides together, fold them in. So fold them in, facing. And then with this extra yarn you have, you want to use probably a blunt knitter's needle would be quite good. And along this edge here that you've created, so your cast on and your cast off edge, oh, she's going to be much bigger than this, much longer as well. You want to sew along that edge all the way across so it joins. And then once it's joined and you've sewn, a running stitch will do, and you've tied it off at this end, you'll be able to turn it inside out and you'll have something that looks similar to this. So I hope that video's helped. If there are any questions, please ask. This is just a sample to get you going, otherwise the video would be hours long, and it's already long enough, I think. But like I said, if you need to download the pattern, we'll put in the comments below. And if you want to ask me any questions, please leave a comment and I'll try and answer as honestly as I can. I'll help you out. And if you really are struggling to knit with the Katia Velour and don't know what to do, you're more than welcome to pop into the shop and I'll help you out there too. And you can buy the balls of wool from us and a few other Katia products if you need to. You can also get the knitter's needle for sewing up from us, and you can get your knitting pens. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and good luck with all your velour knitting.